We're looking at the lost world. Was Adam a Neanderthal? Excerpts of this are from an article Dave Phillips wrote in 2000 called Neanderthals Are Still Humans. Now, when we think of the term Neanderthal, usually we picture a lowbrow, jaw-jutting knuckle dragger. Back when I was in school, we called them jocks. Evolutionists try to convey this picture because it ties to the we are related to the ape scenario they love to push. By taking pieces of skull, evolutionists can tweak them to fit their paradigm, achieving the smaller cranium, a more prominent jaw, and a much more ape-like profile. By laying the jaw level, the skull is placed in an unnatural position that allows them to use this look to vilify their artistic renditions of what a Neanderthal looked like. Doesn't look very much like us, does it? So how close are we to the Neanderthal? The recovery of mitochondrial DNA from the Neanderthal remains from Neander Valley, which by the way is why they call them Neanderthal, because of the valley. The Neander Valley in Germany has been significantly important to scientists, both evolutionists and creationists, but actually for different reasons. Evolutionists have long claimed that Neanderthals and other quote-unquote human ancestors were different species over 500,000 years ago, despite the fact that there is no scientific justification for this conclusion. The difference in mitochondrial DNA sequences among us as modern humans range from 1 to 24 substitutions, with an average of about 8. Whereas the mitochondrial DNA sequence differences between modern man and the Neanderthal specimen, plural there, range from 22 to 36 substitutions, putting mitochondrial DNA compatibility between us and them at between 99.7 and 99.8%. Now, what is that difference? Neanderthals had a much healthier and stronger skeletal structure. Their bones were denser, their cranium was slightly larger than ours, actually. Now, Neanderthal brain volume equals or exceeds modern human dimensions, ranging from about 1,200 to 1,750 milliliters, and thus on the average about 100 milliliters larger than modern humans. Although there is no direct correlation between brain size and intelligence, Neanderthal brain volume certainly does not support the views that argue for an evolutionary expansion of hominid brains. What the evolutionists will try and tell you is that the brain started out probably about the size of a fist, and every time we climbed the chain a little bit, the brain got a little bit bigger, and it's never been bigger than what we have now. That's a lie. Neanderthals had the same number of teeth, same number of bones, and because of the proof provided by the commonality of the mitochondrial DNA, same organs that we have today. Were cloning ethical, we possess the DNA in sufficient numbers to actually clone a Neanderthal. Now, you put that Neanderthal in our clothes, and you wouldn't pay them any attention. This is what a Neanderthal, with a skull properly assembled, looks like. Now, culture distances us from animals. No animal used tools to make more complex tools. Animals don't bury their dead, and we know the Neanderthal buried their dead because their skeletons are brought up in positioned pieces that were not natural, but they weren't just dumped into a grave. They buried their dead. They don't play musical instruments, like this tuba, discovered by Oscar Todkoff, made from a mastodon tusk. That was actually made before the flood. Oscar Todkoff actually tripped over something sticking out of the ground while he was walking through there and discovered the mastodon tusk. It took them about 2 weeks or so to dig it up. When they did, they found out it's a musical instrument. Animals don't do that. Neanderthal did all this as well as care for their sick, learned to control fire, spoke a grammatically complex language, and worshipped. Bones recovered showed surgically clean breaks in bone that had healed, showing that when necessary, the Neanderthal could and did practice amputation. Neanderthals did exist with just enough difference between us and them to tell the difference. So was Adam the first Neanderthal? He most certainly was.